Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be all about self-care. I have Katie with me. We're going to discuss how we carry out our self-care, or how we care for ourselves, how we take time out and heal, and whatever else comes up really. We're not going to just limit it to self-care. Okay, I'm having lighting issues. So while I fix that, Katie, please, you have the mic.
Hi, I hope everybody is doing well out there. I know that there's been a lot going on in the collective, and a lot of figuring out where we are with things. So we thought it was important to talk about self-care because that's getting back to the basics. When we fill our own cups or our own lives, then we're able to overflow into others' lives, and we're able to make differences and help out and things like that. But when we're not taking care of ourselves and we're not getting back to the basics with the things that we need, then it's not possible to be of service to anybody else in our life. So pretty important topic. And I know that with myself personally, I've actually been struggling a lot with this recently because I've been getting caught up and just running and not taking the time or not sitting back to take the steps that I know that I need to be of service, and to even just to be of service myself. So yeah, I think you guys have all pretty much met me before on Adey's channel. I'm a Reiki master teacher, and I like to work with sound healing, binaural beats, essential oils, all different types of stuff. So she's got my contact information, and I'm pretty sure it'll be listed. And yeah, so get started with this chat.
Yeah, so God, I've been actually I knew this month was going to be all about self-care for me, and healing and reviving and resurrecting parts of me that either I've never met or I haven't seen in a while. And so far I've been just directing all that healing to myself. And I don't know if this sounds weird as a healer, but I've never really performed the healing that I do on my clients on myself. And so when I go into my meditations with these intentions, I just never have experienced, seeing my light body and having the angels and my guides and myself performing the healing and aligning the chakras and releasing all of what I see in others. I got to see in myself and my chakras and everything. So that has been interesting. Of course, doing my morning meditations and gratitude, that's what I found actually also helps in the healing process, is showing gratitude to the universe. And so when I do my morning meditations, I start with that. And I truly am grateful for every experience, every moment. You have to remind yourself of that. When you silence your mind, I find that that's really what comes through: gratitude, love, understanding. And so when I do feel challenged, when I do feel like I am reacting to people or situations rather than responding, that's where I find myself going, is to that quiet place where I can pull from the gratitude and the love that I have within me. And actually, when I did my morning meditation today, Jesus did appear to me, and he came to me and he gave me that very message that I just shared with you guys. Is in every situation or every moment that you are experiencing, whether it is the good, the bad, the ugly, underneath it all is love, and that's all there ever is. And so when you do feel challenged, Spirit is challenging us to look further and look within and go deeper into the situation as well, because that is what you will find. And that is what's going to heal you. That's what's going to clarify whatever it is that you've been foggy about. And that's what's going to help you move forward and have a clear understanding of what's truly happening to you. And so I have been running away from all of this because I just didn't think I can handle it, or that I could deal with whatever it is that I find. And I have been wrong. I have been so wrong. All the fears that I was experiencing before really was an illusion. It really was. But, that's okay. That's part of the learning process. And that is what I am grateful for. I show gratitude to the universe for all the lessons that I have learned, because now I have an understanding, and I have grown from it, and I see it and I feel it. And so I feel like I've been talking a long time. I'm going to pass it to Katie.
Oh, you're so good, though. It was all beautiful things. So yeah, I want to touch on a couple of the things that you said. I actually really, really enjoyed that you said discovering or rediscovering parts of yourself that were there, but that are coming back up, because I've definitely been feeling the same way, recognizing and realizing different things that I've, had in the past that are coming and cycling back up again. Also too, gratitude is literally the most grounding thing that you can do for yourself. I think that can always recenter you. If you can just, it's a perspective flip. If you're able to just bring yourself back into that idea of gratitude and understand that, it could be a lot worse, and that there's always something to be grateful for, as opposed to focusing on what is going wrong in your life, to be focusing on what's going good in your life, because that just changes everything for you. And then the self-healing. I think that that's amazing that you've been doing that. For the past 2 years, I've really been working on a lot of self-healing with myself. And it's been a journey. It's been taking me to a lot of really interesting places and perspectives to be able to see different things. I think it's really, really important that we focus on too. There was something else that you said that reminded me of just basically sitting with your feelings. Oh, the running away thing. Yes, I resonate with that so deeply, because I feel like for a very long time in my life, and I feel like for a long time in my life, I've been running from a lot of things, but it's not just that. I do love to travel, and I do love freedom, and I love exploring and things like that. But then there's also just been this sense of, when things started to become complacent, or I started to not have an idea of what I wanted to do, it'd be like, I get antsy, and I'm trying to get away from it. And I have to initiate something new. And the uncomfortableness for a little bit, and sort of embracing the feelings that come to you, because you can't just sweep feelings under the carpet and expect it to go away. You're going to have big lumps in the carpet that you start to trip over eventually. So it's important that we address these feelings and sit with them and sit with the emotions and let them run through us. Like if you're feeling sad, or if you're feeling angry, that you let them move through you, so that you understand how to deal with these things, and so you can learn from your lessons, and you can move on from that, and you can do better, or you can do differently, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Also too, there's actually a movie recently that was brought to my attention. I think it's called Inside Out, but it's about all the feelings. And it's talking about this little girl, and she moves, and she's really, really like sad and upset, but and all the feelings are up in her brain, and they all run her main operating system basically. And then they choose when the feelings decide to present themselves or not. And happiness was trying to take over the whole time and be like, because she didn't like it when she was sad or when she was angry, which is understandable. I don't think anybody really enjoys those feelings thoroughly or, deep down. But the point is that it's completely unrealistic to be happy all the time. We're here, and we've got this idea of duality within humanity, because, we want to experience contrast. We want to know the extremes of things. We want to be here to experience. And so if we don't have those moments of sadness or anger or being hurt or anything like that, then, we're really not truly going to know what the opposite sides of those feelings are. We're not going to be able to experience true, genuine joy or true, genuine happiness. We're just going to be basically floating through life, not feeling much of anything, because we're blocking so much. So it's really important that no matter what it is that we're feeling, that we completely take that on and we own it, own those feelings. And I've really been learning that a lot with myself, because there's been a lot of things, like I don't like feeling vulnerable. I don't like feeling fearful. I don't like feeling emotional. I don't like feeling any of these things. But, I've really just started to come into a place of acceptance with it, and understanding that it's important for me to feel these things regardless of what I want. That sometimes it's for the greater good, and sometimes it's for a greater purpose, something, you know, and that's the other thing too, is that sometimes, at most times, it's something that's out of the realm of our understanding. And so if we're able to just kind of flow and go with it instead of trying to control every aspect of things, that we actually have a much more fluid outcome. Things work out much better than we could have even planned or could have. Also too, I did want to tap in on another thing that really grounds me and can really get me to a place of feeling joy again if I'm feeling off, is going out in nature. If I'm going on a it always, you know, the fresh air, the oxygen flowing from the exchange with plants, like it's a symbiotic relationship that you guys are giving back and forth to each other. It's just a really beautiful connection, and I can always instantly like draw myself in to myself when I'm doing that. So those are, and journaling. Journaling always really helps me to kind of sort out my thoughts and like kind of get things out on paper. And then, you know, you can see where you're at with things, because, you know, be honest with yourself when you're writing or doing these things. And then you can kind of come to some understandings and some clarity when we do that, or when I do that for myself.
Wow, so much I want to expand on from what you
awesome.
Spoke of. But before I do that, I am kind of watching the live chat on YouTube, and shout out to those that joined, Wendy, Stephanie, and Wendy. It seems like you and I and Katie go through same type of stuff, same type of energy, and I find that so interesting. But not surprising, because, you know, we did all share like a really wonderful time last summer in Arkansas. So we made those connections. So that's possibly why. Either way, I think it's beautiful, and I'm glad that everything that we're talking about resonates with you, and I hope we could help each other somehow. So what I want to expand on is this. When we go through, you do have to face your shadow self, and I love that you go kind of scientific when you talk about our emotions and what we're going through, because science and spirituality essentially are kind of saying the same thing from different points of view. And I love when you find a way to merge them together. And so when you were talking about, you know, to insanity, and it's not possible for us to be happy all the time, I totally agree with that. And that's what I found myself doing, is like, because I don't want to go through the discomfort of feeling your shadow selves and confronting yourself. I do tend to sometimes, not all the time, run away. Other times it's like the universe and spirit is like, listen, you can't run too far, and it's going to hit you hard. You know, the more you want to deny and resist and run away from stepping out of your comfort zone to either view a situation or resolve a situation or whatever it is that requires you to step out of your comfort zone, just surrender to it, because it's not going anywhere. It's just going to hit you harder. You know what I mean? And sometimes if that's your outcome, then, you know, that was what was meant to be. And you needed to learn that lesson at that capacity. And so here's the key, though. Here's the key that what I've learned, and it's something that's really just simple. When you're going through these heavy energies and resistance and whatever it is, but you're not aware, you know what I mean? Because you're still in the middle of your lesson. The universe, God, source, or spirit, whoever you connect to, sends you signals and signs of when it's over and it's time for you to move on. And usually these signs are sent to us through our intuition. You suddenly wake up and have a certain level of awareness of what's happening around you, who are the players, what's your part, and you know at this point, when you get that awakening deep down inside, you know what you have to do. The problem is sometimes that thing that we have to do brings us out of our comfort zone. It challenges us, but whatever it is, really is meant to help you grow and assist you. And when you do that very thing to bring yourself out of this lesson, you unlock another dimension within yourself, because what comes with lessons is knowledge. And not just the knowledge of what's directly happening in front of you, but you unlock even more, and you add to your wisdom and to your soul's depth, and you grow from it, and this enables you to help others, you know what I mean? And so the more we resist these lessons and moving out of these lessons, the more we suffer. And you don't have to, you know, when you have that awareness that comes to you and tells you, okay, or unveils whatever it is happening around you to you, it's up to you really to look at it, learn from it, and then move forward. Or whatever the outcome is, either move forward, or sometimes you get an opportunity to go back and I wouldn't say fix it, but get a different understanding of it, you know, kind of like a do-over. Those events do happen. Maybe they're rare, I don't know. But anyway, it's really entirely up to you. And this is when you rely on your connection with spirit and yourself to learn from the situation. So that's another huge realization that came to me is I wanted to hold on to my lessons, and I didn't want to let go. I didn't want to surrender. But you know what? Just keep an open mind and open heart, and stay connected with source, God, spirit. And this is what's going to help you move forward. And so I'll toss it to you, Katie.
Beautiful. Again, Adey, thank you so much. I have some things that I definitely want to touch on. So the thing that you were talking about with self-awareness is huge. And Archangel Michael definitely helps with self-awareness. But when we can actually get out of ourselves, sometimes it brings us to a greater understanding of ourselves. And, you know, we look within for the answers that we need through meditation and prayer and different things like that. But also, you know, just being like acts of service for people, doing things for other people, that can be something to get you outside of yourself and help you to feel a little bit more connected and a little bit more aware. And, you know, because when we're so focused internally on what's going on with us, when this is us and this is the world circling around, then it's hard for us to have that self-awareness and to see, you know, have the proper perspective, to see the bigger picture. Also too, I really liked what you said about resistance, because, you know, we do give ourselves the most difficult time when we resist something, as opposed to just letting it flow. It's so ridiculous. You know, when we allow for spirit, we allow for source to come through us, or to connect the way that, you know, not the way that we think it should go, but the way that it's supposed to go, the way that's the greater plan, greater than what our ideas are, then it just goes much better. Also too, there was something else that I had to say about, not resistance, not vulnerability, but even though being vulnerable is important, actually, in our culture, we're really taught that, you know, vulnerability is a weakness. But when we decide to open up ourselves and we decide to let things work through us, it's a beautiful thing. And there was Brene Brown. She actually did this TED Talks on vulnerability. And she talks about how, you know, that's how things start to happen, is when we show up and we're vulnerable and we're open, because you're being honest, you're being true to yourself, you're putting yourself out there. And also too, for growth, you know, what you were talking about with the uncomfortableness, I think I touched on that too. I've noticed in my journey and most of my other healer friends and different people around me, that growth happens when you are uncomfortable. You're not growing when you're in a comfort zone. You can sit there and you can be comfortable all you want, but guess what? You're not moving anywhere. You're not going up. You're not even going down. You're just like placating. And that's like the worst, because what are you doing with your life? You know, at least that's how I feel. What am I doing with my life? And also too, I wanted to touch on, how you were saying to be open, that, you know, our source is always there. Like the connection is never gone. The only time that you feel like it's not there is when we pull ourselves away because we think we know better, or because we want to judge a situation or whatever. And then that kind of is what we are the ones that create that separation, that gap in between us and our higher power and our connection. So, you know, if we're actually open and we're listening and we're praying and we're meditating, there's like so many beautiful ways that you can be contacted by your source creator. I actually did several months back when I was in California. I was reading something, or just the information came to me somehow, that basically you can ask source what your secret language is with them. Like, what are your signs? Maybe it's numbers, maybe it's animal like totems, maybe it's talking through people, other people coming to you and giving you messages. You know what I mean? You can actually make a contract with your higher power, with your source, of like, okay, when I need to know absolute clarity of what's going on in my life, could you please let me know through this modality or through this modality? Maybe it's finding feathers or finding a certain colored rock, or, you know, there's so many different signs that you can ask for, and you'll never be denied a sign for you going the right way and being on the right path. All you have to do is be open enough to accept it, receive it, and listen to it as it's coming to you. So that's a really great way to kind of stay in touch and to feel like you're going on the right track, is to ask for it. You know, and we can ask for anything that we need in our life, whether it's a change of heart or whether it's a deeper connection, whatever that you feel that it is that you're desiring, you are allowed to ask for it. We are all here as worthy beings. We are allowed to experience the fullest of anything that we want to. It's just a matter of us believing whether we're worthy or not to accept that, or to have that, and to not self-sabotage ourselves. So when you're open and you allow and you ask for these things, they will definitely come to you.
I'm so glad you said that, because that's another thing that I wanted to mention is, yes, you can ask for whatever it is that you want, whether it is, like you said, to show you a sign, what type of signs resonate with you or whatever. You could also ask for assistance, you know, and that's what I had to do. When you realize, okay, this is a lesson, you know, I know what my role is, I know what I've learned, but I need help moving on from this. Always ask for source. The universe, source, angels, guides, they're always there for you to pull you out of it. You know what I mean? And so I find that when I do ask for it, it does come to me. As long as you believe that you're receiving this help, you keep an open heart. That's why that's important. So definitely the universe wants you to be happy. It supports anything that contributes to your soul's growth, happiness, love, all those positive emotions, love-based emotions. Because love is really the only thing that there is underneath all of this. It's all within us. And so as long as you are doing something that you truly speaks to your soul, your happiness, whatever direction that you're going that leads you there, you will be supported. And sometimes along that journey, you're going to run into stuff, you know, you're going to run into lessons. And so just keep that in mind, you know, strengthen your connection with source energy. That truly is what has helped me, and what has healed me, or is healing me, and I'm keeping myself open to that energy, and I'm allowing it to just flow through me rather than resist. Go ahead, Katie.
So one of the main ways that I really like my source connection to talk to me, definitely through meditation, when I'm able to kind of get in my own headspace and not to just fill, but to actually empty and to just be, and to focus on my breathing and just awareness of being present, then I'm able to connect on a much deeper level. But this was so awesome. I actually have a close friend that I'm working with right now, and I was kind of stressing out about some things in my life, and you know, she was reassuring me, as good positive role models and friends are supposed to do, that everything was going to be okay and work out the way that, you know, everything is intended to and whatnot. And so I was with my nephew and my sister, and we were going on a hike, and my nephew ended up finding this little painter turtle. And I've always been into, or at least for the past year or so, I've been into looking up what the meanings of seeing certain animals crossing your path is. And I think it's really interesting because way more times than not, like 99.9% of the time that I see an animal and I'm going through something, it is so relevant to whatever I'm going on, whatever's going on in my life. So I just wanted to read it was so interesting. The turtle totem, it says that the turtle totem wisdom teaches us about walking our path in peace and sticking to it with determination and serenity. Slow moving on earth, yet also incredibly fast and agile in water. Those who have a turtle as a totem may be encouraged to take a break in their busy lives and look around or within themselves for more grounded, long-lasting solutions. Traditionally, the turtle is symbolic of the way of peace, whether it's inviting us to cultivate peace of mind or a peaceful relationship with our environment. And it was just amazing because it like, you know, it was funny too, because my sister and my nephew, like we were all really excited because the turtle was like this big. It was so darn cute. It was like a silver dollar size. And everyone's like, oh, we got to learn how to take care of it. We should ask if we could keep it. Da, 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 da. And like so much high energy. And I was like, hold on. I want to look up what the totem is. And so, you know, and then they started fighting because like my nephew dropped it and my sister's like, you can't hold it like that. Da, 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 da. And like everyone's all freaking out. And I was like, okay, hold on. Let me read the totem. So I read it and it's all about coming back to groundedness and serenity and peace. And everyone was just kind of like, whoa, okay. So it was really beautiful. And, you know, also too, as well as having that source connection, to know that we always have guides around us, guides that we can connect to and that we can talk to, whether it's angelic or, you know, or alien or whatever, you know what I mean? That you just, there's people, or there's not, I shouldn't say people, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, people can be too, but energies can constantly be around you. It's a vibration. So whatever you're putting out that you want to attract to yourself is what you're going to be bringing back to yourself. It's what you're going to be bringing in your life. So, you know, also too, actually that brings up a really good point of really being aware of what you're allowing into your vibrational frequency, because there'll be a lot of times where I'll be thrown off with something and I will be like, what is wrong with me? But then like looking back or checking, what have I been eating? But to be understanding of the actual vibrations you're putting into your body and what hurts it's at, because there's actually certain hurts that are healing to our body and then other ones that bring discord within our body. And while it's good and fun to like explore and have yourself brought around in different areas, to understand where you can bring it back to, and bringing yourself back to a centeredness and to what, you know, what you like to generally be at, what your mode is, what you like to stay on, what, you know, what side of the dial. So, and also too, like what type of conversations I'm letting in my life, like, oh, it goes so deep. Like you can literally, everything's a vibration. So you think to yourself, honestly, like movies that you watch, TV shows, what vibrations are you allowing in your frequency? And that will give you a really good idea of why you feel the way you feel.
Oh, absolutely. That's definitely part of self-care. I'm going to backpedal to everything you were talking about. Especially when it comes to signs, because something came to mind with me. I know someone in the chats said that, oh, thank you. Status Divine, she asked for when she wants signs, dreams. That's absolutely another way of connecting to source or spirit for signs. Pay attention to your dreams. That's another way of communicating. What else does she say? Oh, okay. No, she's just like, okay. So thank you. Thank you, Status Divine. I love you too. Thank you. For me, I always tell people, anyone that knows me knows I like to stargaze, sun gaze. I'm always looking to the skies, and all the signs are there for you as well. Just by you just looking up and keeping your mind silent, the messages come through. You just can't stop it. You can't. The messages come through. And so that's another way that I get signs. Another way that source, spirit, whoever up there on your team sends you signals for help, for self-care, is by bringing, you know, people into your life. Like, especially for me, this is so it speaks to my truth, especially for like recent events. I have kept everything to myself. I just really didn't truly open up to anyone. I just want to deal with my issues myself. And sometimes part of self-care and part of the healing is being vulnerable and allowing your friends to help you, you know, telling your friends what's going on, what's, you know, they could be going through the same thing, and you guys could help each other bounce ideas back and forth. They may have experienced what you're going through in the past, and maybe they have something valid to offer as far as advice or healing. And so that's another thing that's really, really important, is to open up to your friends, you know, the ones that you feel close to and then you trust. Just that's what I had to do. I started opening up to my friends, and that helped me tremendously. I mean, I've learned and grown so much from that. So that's another part of self-healing, self-care for you guys that are going through these energies, whatever it is. I think that's all I have for now. Katie?
I absolutely love that you said that, because that, like, I think, you know, I was saying, I tapped in a little bit to that earlier about saying, you know, getting out of yourself and seeing others, but literally probably, you know, and I don't want to give exact percentages because clearly I'm just pulling these out of my ass, but so much of the time when you are going through something, there is so many other people going through the exact same thing. It is so ridiculous how much I've realized this in the past 2 years of doing this self-healing work and this energy work, is that literally anything that you're thinking or feeling, that there's someone else out there that is feeling the exact same way, and they feel just as alone. And it's crazy. It's insane that we sit here in these cycles and we're just quiet with ourselves because we're either embarrassed of speaking our truths, or we're embarrassed of being vulnerable. We're fearful, you know, because like Adey was saying, that there's just love. That's all there is love. And then the opposite of that is what? Being fearful. And so, you know, we stem off of these feelings of fear when there's so many other people that are going through the exact same thing. And it's so interesting because it's so important that we, you know, we speak up and we connect, because that's what we're here for, connection. Our most important connection on this earthly plane is the one with ourselves. And that's why self-care is so important. But then other than that, you know, there's connections all around. Establishing and developing these connections on a deeper level with other people and explaining your truths and talking about how things have helped you, you know, that can bring information back to you, because other people will open up and start talking about what they experienced and how they've handled things. And you are probably going to learn something new that you never knew. And you can be like, wow, that's really effective. I really like the way that you dealt with that, because, you know, we can always learn new information. Hopefully, you know, most of us, if not, you know, everybody should be striving towards growing every single day. Like, I don't want to stop learning ever. I just constantly want to be elevating in my vibration and my knowledge and everything, and my emotions. I just want to be elevating in all of that. And you know, a big way that we can do that is with connecting with others. I completely agree with that. Also, too, you don't really ever have to be fearful. This was one really important thing that I learned. I actually learned it in a channeling class when we were in Arkansas, but I also apply it to other things in my life, because I just, going back to kind of what I was talking about earlier with vibration and attracting into your life what type of vibration you're putting out. You don't ever have to be fearful or worried about what you're bringing in your life unless you're fearful or worried about the way that you're acting, because whatever vibration that you're putting out is what you're going to bring back to yourself. So, you know, yeah, if you're like screwing people over and being manipulative and lying and hurting, you know, like, sure, be fearful, because that's probably what's going to be coming back to you. But, you know, if you're doing things with good intent, intention's everything, you know, and if you're doing things that you're doing with good intent and you're, you know, putting out, the type of vibrations that you would like to see come back to yourself, you know, treating your neighbor how you would want to be treated, or I don't know, I think that's a thing, but it really can bring you into a place of trusting yourself again, because, you know, that's really big. And I know that that's something that I've actually really struggled with in the past, my whole life, is trusting myself. So, you know, I'm coming into a place of understanding that I'm allowed to have trust for myself, and that I'm allowed to trust in my higher power and know that everything's going to be taken care of, instead of being fearful and kind of just giving the reins up and like losing that resistance that we were talking about, and being like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, trust is kind of faith, more or less. You know what I mean? I mean, they are slightly different, but trusting and believing that, you know, things are going to go for you the way that you need them to, or that they're going to go for you with what you're putting out. The vibration's going to come back to you that you're putting out. So that's been really big for me recently as well. I'll throw it back to you, Adey.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I meant to say also earlier is, yes, connecting with others is important to help you. But more importantly, I don't know if I said this, connecting to self. That is what connects you to source, because source is in here. And that's also what connects you to others. So when you have that relationship, that connection to source, regardless of how busy your mind is, how terrible the situation is, when you open that door to source and to yourself, it's a door that never closes. And you could always go back to that place to heal yourself or to get to the root of the problem, whatever it is that is an obstacle or appearing to be an obstacle. Sometimes what you think is an obstacle is absolutely like something that's vital for you and that you need. And whatever it is that is so painful that you're going through, just know that it's adding more depth to your soul. And we cannot transform and we cannot ascend to the next level without going through a little bit of pain. You don't have to dwell in it, but you know, pain is what just cracks that ego wide open, and it allows your true essence to come through. And this is something that I've learned from Eckhart Tolle, and it's something that has resonated with me and that has played out. When I look back on my life, it totally has played out in my life. I just didn't allow it to happen. You know, like I've been running away so much from dealing with myself, from painful events and memories that really necessarily do not have to be very painful. You know, you can choose to view it from a different perspective. But in order for you to get to this level, you have to surrender to it. Whatever that you think is so painful that you can't handle, you will find that when you strengthen your connection with source and with the divine, it doesn't have to be as painful. You can see the signals and the healing come to you. And so that's what I've learned.
I love Eckhart Tolle so much. He's such a knowledge box. He's just amazing. He's I've gotten a lot of good stuff from him. You know, it's interesting. I can actually listen. I have this one seminar that he did, and I can listen. I've listened to it, you know, probably over 100 times, and I get something new out of it every single time. But yeah, you know, I think that the main thing too is about just being open and the acceptance, like we touched on and talked about. This, you know, self-care. If we're being open and we're allowing and we're talking to spirit, or we're, you know, praying or meditating and whatnot, bringing ourselves into this awareness, self-awareness, then we'll be able to know the things that are good for us. We're going to know what it is that we need in our life. It's not going to be so confusing. And I think that, you know, pretty much just taking that time, and whether it's, you know, working out or going on a walk or writing in your journal or, you know, any of those things that we talked about, asking for signs, then you'll be put into a right place where you can feel confident and comfortable that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in your life. I don't really think I got too much more. It's up to you if you have anything else you want to talk about.
No, I think this was the message I wanted to get out. And, you know, as the month progresses, I'll have more information regarding self-care, because for me, I think that's what this month is all about: self-care and of course, evolution, the soul's evolution and transition or transformation, whatever, however you view it. But yeah, I think for now, this is sufficient.
Yeah.
I hope it helps some of you.
Agreed. And I do want to throw out that, you know, if anybody feels the need to want to contact me or reach out, please, by all means, like, feel free to, because, you know, I really enjoy being of service. That's what helps me get out of myself. And I really enjoy if I have, you know, different information that I've used, or different, you know, there's podcasts I listen to and YouTube videos and all types of stuff that I'm willing to share any of the information that I have. So please feel free to contact me.
I will put her information in the description box. And so much love to all of you. Thank you so much for viewing, for participating. I'd love you guys so much. I will see you guys probably later on tonight. I think I may do something with Ivan tonight. So look out for that. And I'm also working on, and Katie, I'm also inviting you for this, for next weekend, another collective healing event. It will be on a Sunday. We'll work out the time, and I'm going to work with, healers. So if you guys would like to join, email me or contact me, let me know, or leave me a message in the comment section. Okay, much love, everyone. Thank you.
Much love. Bye.